Hey guys, it's Donnie B, and you're listening to episode 20 of Eat It Up, Buffalo Eats Own podcast, and a very proud member of Audio Buffalo. First, before we get started on today's show, I just want to say thank you to everyone who entered our contest this last week. We had a crazy turnout, way more than I ever thought. I think our total number of submissions rounded out to be about like 1,600 or something crazy like that. So I just have to say thank you guys so much for being so into it, and we're very excited to announce the winners tomorrow. So keep an eye out on Facebook and Twitter around probably 9 a.m. Wednesday morning. And hopefully I'll see a lot of you guys at the happy hour at the Pink from 6 to 8 on the 30th, which happens to be my 28th birthday. On the show today we have Mike Andrzejewski, who is without a doubt Buffalo's most popular chef. Probably Buffalo's, I guess you could say, celebrity chef if there was one. He, I believe actually today, just opened his third restaurant, Mike A's, in the newly renovated Lafayette Hotel, and he somehow found time a month ago to come over to our house and record a little podcast, and talked about his history as a chef, talked about how Cantina Loco was, SeaBar, how all these things came to be, and where they're at now, and how he's managing to be everywhere at once, I guess. But we had a really awesome talk. It was an honor to have him over at our house, and I think you guys are gonna enjoy this one. So I hope you enjoy it. And you gotta take that.
Yeah.
So I guess thank you first of all for coming over here. This is a cool treat for me. I just kind of want to talk about I know a little bit about your story and where you worked and things like that, but I'm just curious of how it all began, and we'll I guess jump around a little bit, but
okay.
Well, first of all, I saw today that you posted a picture of one of your entrees for Mike A's. Mm-hmm. Were you just there today, or?
We're doing our menu development at SeaBar, kind of
okay.
Late night in between shifts. A lot of people working in a little space, and we just need to get an idea where we're going.
Yeah.
We're hoping to be able to actually use the kitchens at the Lafayette in about a week and a half.
Nice.
But for right now, myself and the chef who's going to be actually doing the day-to-day running the kitchen over there, Ed Forrester, we're playing around with a lot of ideas. We've been doing sketches and recipes and basic notes, and we're trying to get some direction for it.
That's awesome.
So, that's
you have to just be insanely busy right now. The life of a chef in general is a very busy one. And you have 2 restaurants and now this third, it seems.
Yeah, it's been really almost out of control at times, where I'm make myself notes of what I got to do today, then lose the notes, and I'm just completely chaotic. I've got a lot of really good people around me. My wife is great. She runs the dining room at SeaBar and kind of oversees everything else.
Nice.
Our kitchen staff there and at Cantina are really pretty strong. So nice. It's not like I got to watch over their shoulder.
That's good.
I like being there. I like being with the customers. I want to cook every day. That's what I love to do.
Yeah.
But I don't want to cook every plate every day. So I'm kind of trying to learn how to divide my time more efficiently.
Yeah.
And I have a bad habit of starting something, getting really into it and distracted, and then completely blowing off everything else.
Really?
It's I don't know if it's some OCD thing or what, but it's I better force myself to
pay attention, I guess.
To pay attention to everything and just use my time better.
Did you? When you opened Cantina, did you notice that you were really just jumping head into that, while kind of letting SeaBar do its own thing, or?
The first 3 weeks of Cantina were harder on SeaBar than I had thought.
Yeah.
Cantina got so busy so fast.
It's still busy.
Yeah, and it really is. We've been very fortunate with that aspect of it.
Yeah, it's great.
But when we were waiting so long for the licenses and everything else at Cantina, and We didn't really know till the day before we opened when we were going to open.
That's crazy.
And it really kind of threw a wrench into the planning process because we didn't have like a warm-up time. Or we opened up the next day and didn't tell anybody, but the day after that there were people waiting at the door.
Yeah, it was like when we were covering it and we wrote the post about the takeout. Like that wasn't even like that wasn't even as much as like it wasn't a review for us. It was more we had been getting so many questions about when is it opening, what are they serving, that when you guys opened, we were like, we have to get these pictures out now. Like people are like dying to see this. Like, were you surprised by how like rabid like the fan base has been like from just the announcement?
Yeah, from the beginning. Really, you're right. From the first announcement back in like last April.
Yeah, because I mean, I think I read it on Andrew Galarno's blog on the Buffalo News.
Yeah, there's been just a huge interest, and a lot of people have an opinion, good and bad. But I am surprised. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's a small corner of our world here. I'm incredibly flattered that what I do, people have such a big interest in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, well, yeah. You're the chef of Buffalo, and I mean, as far as I mean, certainly you deserve it. I think the work you do at SeaBar and Cantina is great, but I think you are probably the most name recognizable chef in the city. I mean, without a doubt.
I think a lot of that has to do with doing it so long. I mean, this year is like my 36th year of cooking for a living.
Wow.
It spans a few decades. And when I look at that, it's kind of like, wow, I don't know if that's bad or good. But I was very surprised about the response and the interest in how vehement people were about a Mexican restaurant and bar. It's been pretty cool if I stand there in the corner, busy night, and watch people, and there's a really good vibe in there, and people are having a great time.
The place is gorgeous,
It's a great feeling. Yeah, our partner Kyle Makowitz did the interior.
Yeah, it's just
and he
fantastic.
Had some great ideas, and it really just fits the area. It fits what we want our identity to be. And it's just a comfortable, fun place to be.
Yeah. We I actually went with Tom probably a couple weeks ago. We filmed a podcast with Nelson Starr.
Oh, yeah?
And after we had some drinks there, and we were just both surprised. Like, because we had went to the takeout a couple times, but like it's so busy over there, and we try to eat kind of somewhere different every week. Like that's the downside of running a blog, is there's always something I still don't have on the website.
Yeah.
So we very rarely repeat, but we went over there for drinks, and it was just I hadn't been in yet, and it was like, wow, this is like a great hangout. Like I can see why it's, there's a wait every night.
Yeah, there is. We only take reservations for like 2/3 of it, and we try to keep part of it open for walk up, and it fills up fast. But we don't ever want to be. We want to try to keep it as democratic as possible.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work, but we're doing our best. I mean, throughout my career, I've had enough lean times that it's kind of painful to say, "Oh, you can't come in," or we don't want your money.
Yeah.
But even from like a neighborly point of view, that it really people make an effort to come down to see us, to have our product and have our food. I really hate to turn people away. It really kind of bothers me, but. The fire department and the and the people who make up those rules really kind of put their foot down. So we're pretty cautious.
And I guess that is a good problem.
It is. I'm by no means complaining.
Yeah. Okay. So you said you've been cooking for 36 years. Let's go back. When did you realize you wanted to start cooking? Like how did it all begin?
I started at Salvatore's Italian Gardens in 1975 or 76.
Okay.
And I started off as a busboy.
Yeah?
And I knew right away that I really liked being in the restaurant. I thought it was cool. I thought it was glamorous.
Yeah. Well, that place is definitely...
fancy cars, pretty girls, just like always excitement going on. I just thought it was a really cool environment. Unfortunately, I was a real dork as a busboy.
Oh.
And I was really not good at it. I knew I wanted to be in the restaurant in some capacity, so I got up the courage to go talk to Mr. Salvatore, ask him if I could go in the kitchen.
Nice.
And he said that's about the only option I've got because I'm not going to last out in the dining room. So he took me in and he introduced me to the chef, whose name was Robbie Haas. He's a pretty well-known guy in Florida and the South. He's ran some really great resorts and stuff. And told him I was going to be starting there on Monday. And, they just started giving me menial jobs. And chopping cases of parsley and breaking open lobster tails. But I knew right away that's what I wanted to do.
Those are calling? Yeah. I mean, how young were you? You must have been
16.
16, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like that's a lot of paths. It's just getting a job as a 16-year-old and just falling in love with it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that takes them all their lives to find something they really love to do, and I consider myself extremely lucky that I never had to worry about that or make that decision, that it was just there.
Yeah. So after how long were you at Russell's Salvatore's?
It wasn't too long. It was somewhere probably around a year or so.
Okay.
The later nights and screwing up and sneaking out afterwards, and my parents put their foot down because I was kind of not doing really well in high school. So I had to find something with hours that were a little bit more conducive to keeping peace of the family type thing, and trying to do better at school. It didn't really work.
No. Did you go to school for culinary arts? Or?
No, I went to Villa Maria College here in Buffalo for a 2-year management degree.
Okay.
And that was about it. I worked for a lot of good people that really kind of pointed me in the right direction and taught me how to do things the right way and kicked me in the ass when I didn't.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, when you went to school, did you know that you were going to be going into the restaurant industry?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. At that point, there was no other option.
No.
So
you had jumped head first.
Oh yeah, I worked full time constantly through everything like that, and I really bounced around to a lot of different jobs, but I knew I would be somewhere in kitchens or restaurants. Yeah.
And so at what point did you start working at Oliver's? Because that's, I think, when I first heard about you, was when you worked there.
I don't remember the exact year. I worked at a few places around, some little smaller, family-run places and Italian pasta houses in the Cheektowaga, Lancaster area where I grew up.
Yeah.
I was the first kind of well-known restaurant I worked at was Shepherd's.
Okay.
Out on Maple and Transit, and they were the first people in this area to do the Cajun Creole stuff when it was really hot with Paul Prudhomme and Emerald starting off, it was really it was a really busy place. It was good food, good service, just a fun place. But man, you really learned to move. There's little kitchen, big staff. It was a cool experience.
Nice.
From there, I went to the Rue Franklin.
Oh, okay.
And that was kind of the biggest eye-opening thing ever.
Yeah, I mean that place is talked up there as like Oliver's, an institution. For
what they've accomplished over the 40 years they were open, they just recently turned over the reins and sold it to their chef. Mm-hmm. But to be the best restaurant in Buffalo for 40 years is just an unbelievable, difficult road. I mean, the dedication that Dee Dee and Joel had to run that place the way they did, and the attention to detail is just it's amazing.
We had Chris Van Every from No, and he was saying the same thing. Because he said he worked there, and I told him I am so upset that I haven't eaten there yet. It is probably on my to-do list of places I need to get to, because everything I've heard is just phenomenal.
It really is. It's just a great run restaurant. I mean, every detail's attended to. It's so serene, and you just escape from everything else when you go in through the doors. When you try to go during the summer, they have a garden in the back that you can eat in.
Oh, really?
And you swear you are not anywhere near Western New York.
You don't realize that.
It's beautifully landscaped. It's just so peaceful. The service is so impeccable. It's just a great experience.
You have no idea that one of a dive bar is located
next door, and
right next
Galician shop on the other side.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's all. I mean, so you were at Rue, and then you went to Oliver's, or was
then
there?
I went to Warren's out in Tonawanda in its heyday. It was kind of an unusual location, but a really great restaurant. Mark and Sue Warren were really dedicated to fine dining, and like their foresight and how much we could do there creative wise was just pretty cool. We go to New York a couple times a year and go to like all the hot places and try to get a direction of where we wanted to go. And we just had kind of free range as far as the creative aspects of it go. And it was really a neat situation. So
that's got to be like the best thing for a chef.
It is. It was
just
really
getting a pass and being like, we trust you, just go with it.
Yeah, it was a fun place to work. So I was there for about 3 years. Then I wanted to get back towards Buffalo, and I worked at another place that didn't last too long. And I got a call from Henry to go to Oliver's and asked me if I was interested in coming over there. Yeah, and the funny thing is, my wife Sherry was already working there.
Really?
Yeah, Hutch was the chef. He had hired her to work like the cold side and prep and stuff like that. And deep down, she's really a kitchen person too.
Yeah.
but I ended up talking to Henry, and Mark Hutchinson was moving to California at the time. So when I started there, me and Mike Hafner, who was Hutch's chef over there, kind of ran it together for a couple of years, and then he went back with Mark over at Hutch's, and I stayed there another 7 years after that.
Wow. Was that like the longest you had kind of sat down and settled at a restaurant?
Oh yeah,
up to that point?
Yeah. That's the best job in the city for a chef.
Yeah,
by far. I mean, you've got everything you need. Henry is a great mentor and leader. He knows exactly how to get your energy focused and get you doing the best job possible. He's not afraid to give you some free rein to do what you want to do, and it was really kind of a great experience.
Yeah.
If any place I worked, that place really kind of made me.
Yeah. You were definitely a household name, because I didn't know that much about restaurants until maybe a couple of years ago, like maybe 4 years ago, when we really started to care about it. But I remember hearing about Oliver's, and I remember hearing that, like, you were the chef there, and I actually, when we started putting our site together, I had a section called Buffalo Food on TV, and I found some old links, and I found a clip of you with Bobby Flay doing I forgot the name of his show, but
that was Food Nation.
Food Nation, yeah, and I saw that you were talking to him, and he was showing you cooking in the kitchen and everything. Like,
that was a really cool experience. I mean, that was definitely a highlight. That they came in there like rock stars with a couple of tour buses. And,
really?
I was really nervous about it because we got the call a couple of days beforehand.
Really?
That they were coming, and they wanted to do something. It was in the fall, and they wanted to do something that was like kind of game oriented. And luckily we had a rabbit dish on the menu, and he said, well, "Can you do anything with venison?" And I said, "Sure." If you told me, you wanted a alpaca or something, like I would have found that. But we called around, and I found some venison, and we did a special for the week with a venison dish. And it was sort of intimidating, but it turned out he was a really cool guy to work with. Awesome. He really put you at ease and like kind of made you a little more comfortable, which really helped because I was like shaking underneath.
Yeah, it's first of all, it's Bobby Flay, who's a legendary chef, and then it's Food Network. I mean, that's going on,
Yeah, I had heard he could be really tough and really kind of not easy to deal with, but it was just the opposite. He was great.
Yeah,
his girlfriend was there with them, and he kind of took Sherry aside and was talking to. They hung out for a little bit.
Nice.
We had a little bite to eat afterwards, and it was a neat experience. It was really cool.
Was that just like a one-day thing? Like he kind of just like came in and it was like a whirlwind for just a day.
He told me about their schedule for that program. They did like 6 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And it was like unbelievably grueling. He had to go. He was from Buffalo. He went to Toronto, and I guess they were stuck at the border for like 6 hours. And then their bus, they gave him a really hard time. It was just a lot harder job than people think.
Yeah.
It is. Those people really work hard.
Oh yeah, I mean, for what they do, and like you watch like Anthony Bourdain and all that stuff, like for those travel type shows, like they're just on a constant schedule. I mean, Oliver's is a pretty big name in Buffalo. I mean, did that affect any of did you feel any publicity from it? Like, did you feel like maybe more people in Buffalo were paying attention or
Oh, definitely. Henry was, he went out of his way to make sure that we kind of pushed the envelope as far as getting press and getting, some recognition for what we were doing over there, which was really great. And like I said, if any place I worked at really made my name out there, it was Henry's dedication to what we were doing and his ability and his willingness to spend some extra money to push it and to have publicity people and to have photographers. Awesome. So we did pretty good. We got, national paper, newspapers. We had some magazine coverage, and the internet was like just starting off then. Believe it or not, it wasn't always here.
Yeah, I was going to say the clip I found, it definitely shows a little of dating the quality of it. They were still using VHS or VCR type tapes to record everything. And,
you
can tell from the video.
So if I ever look at stuff like that, it looks pretty weird.
So after Oliver's, what was your move?
It was Tsunami.
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah, we after it was about 9.5 years that I was at Oliver's, and we and funny, I never really wanted to own my own restaurant. I always felt it would be a lot more conducive to having a life if you took somebody else's money, and then went home at the end of the day, and it really over a period of a couple of months, I just had this uncontrollable urge to open a restaurant.
Really?
So we thought about it, and we started looking at properties and developed kind of an idea where we wanted to go. Got involved with Ty Trong from Papaya.
Oh, okay.
And together we found a place on Kenmore Avenue and really kind of built it from what was a defunct, French Swiss old world restaurant called Truffles. It had been closed for about a year, and we got a pretty good deal on it. Most of the stuff was still intact. The ovens worked and the exhaust system, but we had a lot of work and decor and stuff, and we turned that into Tsunami and had a pretty decent run there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was your first taste of the ownership world, and I mean, then you start having to worry about numbers and things like that, or
yeah, and that's definitely not one of my strong points. I'm a much better cook than a business person.
Yeah. I mean, and I know Tsunami closed, and then SeaBar. Was that the next step, or?
There was about 6 to 8 months in between there. Tsunami closed. Just a lot of it was just bad decisions and business practices on our own part.
Yeah, my
part, and I was still having a lot of medical problems after the motorcycle accident.
Yeah,
I ended up having to go in for a reamputation and a lot of really serious. Medical things for a while.
Yeah, that'll.
The October storm wiped out a lot of stuff. We closed it for a few weeks.
Wow, just literally a perfect storm.
Yeah, there's other words for it too, but so we ended up closing that, and it was kind of cool that JJ and Kevin at Torches took it over, because you feel like at least you laid some groundwork for something great. They're doing a really good job over there, and I'm really proud to see them doing so well and doing such good food. So I started working at ECC, teaching part-time.
Okay.
Trying to figure out if that was going to be for me. And I was working a little bit for Delaware North at the arena doing some stuff for the private boxes in the year during hockey season. That was kind of interesting.
Interesting.
I just missed the real thing.
Yeah.
It was, once you start doing it, it's pretty hard to get away from it. So thinking that both physically, mentally, and financially, to start off smaller or do something small, like a little sushi bar, kind of just sushi. We took over the space on Main Street by Trattoria Roma. And
in Williamsville.
Yeah, and we opened up the SeaBar there.
I wasn't sure which one was first, the city location or the... Yeah.
The Williamsville one was about a year and a half ahead of time.
Okay. Why sushi? what?
Well, we started off doing the sushi at Tsunami to add like another dimension to what we were doing. We were big in the Pacific Rim, and we were getting better and better connections to get really great Pacific sushi fish.
Nice.
And we did a little bit of limited menu, and it got bigger and bigger. We ended up making some great connections in the Hawaiian fish auction in Honolulu. And space-wise and investment-wise and just physically, it was a really kind of a smart way to go about getting back into the restaurant business without having to do everything that goes with a full kitchen.
Yeah, because generally, it seems like it's more of a calm... but like methodical, like
it definitely is as much organization and pre-work than running around like crazy trying to put out 100 dinners in a night.
Yeah,
and that was a big part of our decision to go in that route.
Yeah.
Plus, I love the stuff. It's just such a level of skill from making rice to cutting the fish to even buying and storing the fish. It's a very meticulous.
Yeah, how did you
do it?
How did you? Learn all these these techniques. Because you always hear about people in Japan who are like, they learn how to make rice for 8 years and stuff.
I think the Japanese are masters of their own publicity stuff. So there is a process of going through, and a lot of it for us was trial and error. I had a couple of friends up in Toronto that we would go up and spend a couple of days with that were pretty accomplished, traditionally trained sushi chefs. One of the guys, Danny, would come down every once in a while and spend a couple of days with us at Tsunami. And say, no, you're doing this all wrong, you idiots. Just a lot of research, too. Trial and error. We're definitely by no means traditional. I'm sure a master sushi chef would just like pull his hair out if he has any left at this point. If he saw how things are supposed to get done, how we do them.
Yeah.
But in the end result, our stuff tastes really good. The fish is impeccably fresh, and people seem to really enjoy it. So
we said this in the thing for Channel 2 we taped, but I was very fortunate that SeaBar on downtown was my first ever sushi experience. I can't think of a better place to even start, but I had never tried it, and it was eye opening. Like just. I think there's all those preconceived notions of people who are afraid to try things, and they're afraid of sushi with the raw fish and everything like that. But I was hooked, like from that point on. Like
I could imagine going to some place that was not very fresh or not very good, and how that could kind of like ruin you for life.
Yeah. I looked at that.
So, we've had a lot of people that never had it before, and. We've got kind of a way we break them in, so by the end of the meal, we know they'll be craving it again sometime soon. You want to start off a little bit lighter with, say, cooked shrimp or tempura or something.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of build up their expectations for the next bite.
Nice.
And it's really a fun thing to do it. And plus, the sushi bar, when you're working out there, it's really interactive. Everybody's in front of you, or you're all in the same area, and you can communicate with people.
Oh yeah,
and you can see their reactions to stuff, both good and bad, and you can really kind of form their dining experience.
Yeah.
So it's a really interactive and personable way to go eat dinner.
Especially
plus you get to pick stuff up with your fingers and dip and slop stuff around.
Especially even like just sitting at the bar there and watching the chef prepare everything and kind of almost being a part of it, watching the whole process in front of you. It's just an awesome way to dine, I think. Like, just to eat like that, just to be in that atmosphere. So, I know the Williamsville location closed, so you could, I'm assuming, focus more on the Ellicott Street one, or?
Yeah, we had both of them going, okay. They were paying the bills. We were plugging along.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how to make them better, and we had the opportunity with our landlord, Rocco Termini, to take over a lot of the building, the first floor of the building where we're in now.
Yeah.
And he was really instrumental in pushing us in that direction and getting the kitchen built and the bar built.
Yeah.
And,
because right around that time is when you decided to expand, right? I'm assuming the downtown location.
That was the deciding factor. Is we had that opportunity, and once we started building it, we were kind of realized we're competing against ourselves.
Yeah.
It just wasn't good to have two places doing exactly the same thing, like 12 minutes apart.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like, well, that's kind of common sense. but it took us a couple of years to realize that. So with the addition of the bar and the kitchen, the downtown one really became what the SeaBar that it is now. Well, you got to have a lot of different variety. There's something for a lot of different people.
Yeah. I mean, you have things like chicken and waffles on the menu.
Yeah, that was because I've always wanted to try it. I've always seen it on TV, and I've always wanted. It sounds like it could be really good. So one Saturday afternoon, we wanted to do a special, and we figured, let's try this, and made up a waffle batter recipe, and the coating on it isn't even like chicken coating. It's the coating for like Asian style or Vietnamese style salt and pepper shrimp.
Oh, really?
That we toned down a little bit, and we toss the chicken in there and fry it.
That's awesome.
Put maple butter on anything is good. So, yeah. It was really just going to be like kind of a stunt, like a one-time special. And it tasted so good, and people responded so well to it that it's been on there since like the fourth week we were open down there.
That's crazy. That's awesome. You kind of touched on this briefly when you were talking about figuring out how to prepare sushi and everything. I mean, we already talked about Cantina. I think everyone knows that story. But like with Cantina, and I mentioned I noticed that when you did that interview with Dining Roomer, that he brought up like authenticity, and you talked about your feelings of people who cry out for authentic. Is it weird to you that conversation kind of came up with Cantina, but almost never came up with SeaBar, or at least that I heard? I mean, because you're technically doing two, it's very specific ethnic cuisines.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know, and you said yourself, you're not doing completely authentic sushi. And
it's not even close. I think because SeaBar sort of evolved from Tsunami, that it wasn't like immediately starting off like that.
Okay.
That had something to do with it. I never looked at it this way before, but you're really right. I mean, there was never that
discussion never came up.
Not really. Nobody complained about the name. Nobody complained about anything. It just kind of rolled along and was kind of a comfortable evolving. I don't know. It never was an issue. Some people say, we like the smaller traditional rolls better. Yeah. It's okay. That's understandable.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's a showing of like that foodie culture that I think is maybe on the rise. I think more people are starting to really care about what they're eating now and want to have things. I mean, and maybe so they're just reading things online more and that kind of stuff. I mean, maybe it's a general knowledge, but it just seemed weird to me that I don't know.
It was such a. It seemed really weird to me too that it was such an incredibly hot or important thing going on for a small little 50-seat restaurant and bar.
Yeah,
that it raised such a furor.
I don't know. I mean,
I have no explanation for it. I kind of count my blessings on it.
Yeah,
you know, it's been.
I mean, yeah, clearly it's not the restaurant's doing fine. And the food. I mean, we've enjoyed. Almost. I mean, we've really loved like almost everything we've had there, and those Korean, the Korean taco. That's like, I still crave that guy.
I eat those a couple times a week, and I think that's kind of like what I'm really good at. My particular strength is taking not necessarily traditional stuff, but making it something really accessible and really tasty.
Yeah.
To really make you want it, just like really enjoyable food. It certainly isn't, highbrow grand cuisine or anything. It's just tasty stuff that you can eat anytime and really enjoy it. It's becoming kind of our signature thing there. Like the beef on Weck rolls at Tsunami.
Oh, God, those beef on Weck rolls. You have to try those. They are... that's so great. I made a point to mention them during that
really
feature.
Started off as kind of a publicity point, a stunt at Tsunami.
Yeah.
And we'd come up with it, myself and our sous chef at the time, Eddie O'Donnell. We were finishing up a wine dinner, and we had one of the courses was a carpaccio of beef. And I don't remember much more about it than that. And then there was something that involved sushi rice, like an hors d'oeuvre or some rolls or something. So we're drinking what was left in the rice, drinking what was left of the wine, and cleaning up the kitchen and drinking a little bit more wine, and just started grabbing scraps of the beef and the rice and wadding it up. And Ed ran in the cooler and got some horseradish, and we kind of looked at each other and said, "This could go somewhere."
That's great.
So when we were a little more clear-headed the next day, we put it together and just like threw it out there for, look, buffalo sushi.
Yeah.
And in 35 years, I've never had anything that even came close to how popular that is.
Really?
In the last year we've been to Albany and did beef on Weck sushi for about 600 people for
really?
The state senate Buffalo party. We were in Washington last fall. Making beef on Weck sushi in the halls of Congress. It was just bizarre.
It really has become like your signature dish.
Definitely.
Have you gotten sick of it yourself?
Sometimes you do, but if you just taste it, it's like, there's like 4 things in it, but it tastes really good.
Yeah.
So it's...
I didn't know if it was like how a band will have like a hit single and they're just sick of playing it. Yeah. I didn't know if that went for the same thing with the chef.
When you're making 50 or 60 of the pounding out beef every day, it gets kind of tiresome. But
yeah,
it's all how you look at it.
Yeah.
If they didn't like it, that would suck.
Yeah, true. Again, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Mike A's, which is your newest adventure, your newest restaurant.
Yeah, the Lafayette Hotel is the project itself. The grand picture of it is incredible. The work they're doing there, the restoration of the building.
Yeah.
What's taken place in the last 8 months is amazing. I really think it's going to change downtown.
Yeah.
It's just such a big, beautiful, glorious thing.
I mean, the pictures just showing part of the renovation.
The work they're doing in there and what they found when they started opening things up and taking down the old walls.
Oh, really?
It's spectacular. It's like a palace is the only way I could describe it.
That's awesome.
I've never seen anything like it in Buffalo, or very few places anyway.
Wow.
I'm really amazed, and I got to pinch myself sometimes. It's like, wow, I'm involved in this. This is really just great.
Yeah, I mean, your name is literally...
Yeah, that was originally not my decision, and it took the powers of the people involved kind of convinced me to do that.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
oh, God, yeah. Like, that shows, your career. That shows where you're at.
Kind of like, the pinnacle so far. It's still a little strange, honestly. I don't know, but I'm very, very honored to be part of it. To be doing something that's going to be so important for Buffalo. There's so much stuff going on there.
Yeah.
We're really pushing hard to bring things up to another level.
Yeah.
our service, our food, our just staff. One of the things I'm most excited about there is going to be the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bar is just this beautiful space. It was part of the hotel, but it was added on a little bit later, so it's more of a 40s, like real clean Art Deco look to it.
Yeah.
And I love that style of design, architecture to begin with. But it's got like 30-foot ceilings, big columns. It's just a beautiful space. And we're going to really try to do a level of service there that is just spectacular.
Nice.
We'll be doing a lot of our own mixes and sodas and infusing syrups and just coming up with different ways to present it. We're kind of looking at it like you would a kitchen menu, in the drink menu.
Well, there's definitely cocktail chefs now, kind of. I mean, that's turned into like a trained field almost.
It definitely is a lot more thought than mixing up a rum and coke and throwing a lime on top.
Yeah. I mean, Buffalo, I don't think we've been known for that too much. There's definitely places you can get a good drink, but I think like with Vera and what's going on with mixology, like I think that's kind of like people are more interested in.
Yeah, I think people are really starting to search things out like that. They generally expect a lot more out of their dining experience now.
Yeah.
And we really want to kind of raise the bar for that.
Nice. So I think like the first things I was hearing though is that it was a steakhouse, but then you're kind of saying that it's
a
not
really loose
technically
term. Yes.
I don't. I mean, if you don't have anything finalized, I don't want you to say anything.
Oh,
but
we've got a lot of stuff finalized, and I guess what it's going to be more of like a Grand American restaurant, like a Waldorf Astoria, Delmonico's, like a Ritz, where it's a really great place. We will have the best steaks we can find. We're using the same mentality when we buy our fish that we get the best we can get. We fly it in overnight. We're working with, looking at several different purveyors and different sources for the meats we're going to be bringing in. One of the things we're going to feature is prime rib, like real prime rib.
Oh, really?
Like USDA dry aged on the bone, hand carved prime rib. I really love that stuff. I can see I'm getting excited right here. But, just the meat from the beginning is going to be just great stuff.
Nice.
And we're really working on the rest of the menu to coincide with, the feature of the steaks we will be doing that is going to kind of be try to not sound, I don't know. The menu is going to be a lot more contemporary than somebody would expect going into an average steakhouse. We're really going to be doing a lot of different techniques, really just trying to take flavors of food and elevating them to really bring them to like a more of an artistic level and more just great presentation.
Yeah.
Really good flavors, super fresh. We're lining up people locally to like specifically grow chickens and ducks for us.
Wow. That's gonna be awesome.
I'm really excited about it. You can follow us on the Facebook page. Gaze at the Lafayette and see some of the stuff, how it's evolving, and where we're at with it. The kind of the premise of the regular dining menu is we're going to take classic stuff like really grand food like veal Oscar or chicken Kiev or duck l'orange and bring them up to our century.
Nice.
Like really intensify them, make use some cool techniques to take that concept that made them such famous and classic dishes, and kind of like renew interest in that style of cuisine. This stuff didn't get to be like known for 100 years because it sucked. It's great food. It's just not trendy right now. Yeah. So, nice. In order to like reinvent them, we're bringing out like all the modern arsenal.
That's awesome.
Whether it's thermal circulators or meat glue or anything like it's going to be a very, very cool dining experience.
That's awesome. And Buffalo definitely, I think, could benefit for having something like that's offering that type of cuisine and that type of service. That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I think it'll be
especially that area. I mean, the true downtown kind of area, to inject any life into that section is going to be huge.
Yeah, this is going to be like shock therapy.
That's a good way to say it.
If you want to inject life, just hit him with the.
I think one of the reasons too that you're so well known is that you do a lot of work in front of people. I like, for example, at Nickel City Chef, you're one of the hosts, and so your face is out there and things like that. Is there a point where you do enjoy being kind of an advocate in Buffalo for finer dining, being sort of like a public face for it, or not even fine dining, but just eating better and eating.
Yeah, it's kind of. I don't know if I ever planned like that. Everybody wants to be a famous chef or whatever. I think it really started out a lot when I was at Oliver's, and Henry's dedication to, kind of like letting us go out, his chefs talk to people and become, some of the face of what was going on in the restaurant. And it went on from there. I enjoy it. I really like the fact that I have an opportunity to talk about what we're doing in the kitchen and our food, but even more to show off Buffalo a little bit.
Yeah.
It's whenever we host people or people come in and, it really, one of the best things that happens to me is people say like, wow, this is really great. I didn't know there's stuff like this in Buffalo. So I really...
That conversation where it's like, wow, you guys just don't have chicken wings.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah. And I take a lot of pride in the fact that I can help with that I can bring that attitude change it and make the whole area look better. I mean, it's self-serving too. I mean, obviously helps our business and helps get our restaurants out there. But it's something I just really enjoy. I like talking about food. I like eating food. I like showing people food. After being a cook and chef, there ain't much else there, so I don't have much of a choice. But I'm very proud that I've worked into that. I'm really humbled that people recognize me, and I really kind of take that seriously. It's a very unique opportunity for somebody that kind of grew up in kitchens before any of the Food Channel or blogging or anything was there, that there weren't really famous chefs. That would they kind of kept you hiding. Stay in the back there, all right.
So. It's definitely a changing trend. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know chefs like names because I'm a this is my hobby, and I always spend so much time into it. But I think even the casual person now is starting to know people. It's
really become an ingrained part of the culture where people really look forward to going out to eating in restaurants. That it's become such a social thing. It's not just fuel. It's not just for after business meetings, but people really kind of plan their entertainment time and budgets and everything around food, and it's just great to see. It's guys like us have known that how much fun it is, how important it is, and how rewarding it is all along, and people are really kind of following and like saying like, this is just great. I mean, it's good, it's healthy, it's not anything that can be really detrimental, but it really brings your social life and your quality of life to another level. And I think that's one of the best parts about what we do.
So, I guess we'll wrap it up by saying, so how long are we away from Mike A's opening?
Well, let me say I've learned my lesson from putting dates on things from Cantina. Sometime in the next probably month and a half.
Wow, really? Oh, okay. I was...
Yeah,
I was expecting longer than that. But
there's, so was I. There's obviously with such a big project and so many people involved, there's a lot of variables. It's close. Most of the restoration work of the hotel is done. It's incredibly beautiful. Most of the apartments are rented. The hotel is going to be fantastic.
That's awesome.
The other properties in there we're all at about the same stage, so it's coming together really quickly.
Wow. I'm assuming that when that's all settled and you have 3 restaurants going on, that you're probably not going to be doing anything new for a while, or do you have a lot of plans still that you want to do?
Take a day off's at the top of the list. I don't really have any plans for anything after this. Sometime after the summer, my wife and I are going to go to Hawaii for our 20th anniversary.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Thanks. She's been like really the backbone, and she puts up with a lot of my crap with all these things going on. So none of it would really go on without Sherry. But I don't have anything solid of what to do next.
No.
I certainly don't need anything. Just concentrate on making what we've got better and better every week.
Nice. Well, Mike, I can't say thank you enough. I really appreciate you coming down here and talking to us. It was an honor. You're hands down Buffalo's most talented chef, so I really appreciate it.
Thanks. That's like I said, I've been very fortunate to work with a lot of really great people that really kind of like led the way and guided me and helped me out. So, it's as much of a tribute to them, to everybody I work for and with, and the staffs we have now make me look really good too.
Nice.
So, thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
All right.